What's going on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok Live? Thanks for joining in this episode of On Another Line Live. We're going to be talking about a few things here, talking about baits that I use to explore new water. Also, some updates talking about the Tackle Box Open House. If you guys are out there on TikTok land and you'd like to get your hands on this stuff over here that's actually a lot cooler than TikTok, go over to youtube.com/on another line, just like the username here. And we will, and definitely like and subscribe over there. There's a lot more stuff going on over there. Trying to build a community. I'm looking for 6,000 subscribers. So you on TikTok are not going to see this, but without further ado, everybody else, we are going to, the routine. We're going to do the short intro. We're going to get into it. We're going to be talking about baits I use to find new fish in new waters I've never fished before. Depending on what time of year it is. And we're going to look at some updates coming up, and I have some really cool news for you guys, so stick around.
Gotta get your arms way up in a cat and set the hook on a smallmouth bass, and then you'll understand. Gotta get your hands on a Shimano reel and a G-Loomis round. I bet you like what you feel. Step on the deck, give it a whirl. Hello, welcome to my world.
Just like you see right here, so I would appreciate it. But welcome back, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok Live, man. I feel like we're just keep growing and growing and growing, and it's the same thing. What's up, Andrew? How you doing today, buddy? Today, again, guys, we're going to be talking about baits that I use to explore new waters when I've never been to a lake. But first and foremost, there's a couple of things I want to talk to you guys about before we get into that. Number one is going to be the Tackle Box Open House, which is coming up here very soon. It is this weekend, this Saturday and Sunday. Just to make sure the dates here, it is the 11th and 12th. The 11th is from 9 to 5. Doors open at 9. We close them at 5. And then the next day, I think, is 10 to 4, if I'm not mistaken. But there's going to be, this is the biggest rod and reel sale I've ever seen in my entire life for any tackle, any place I've ever seen. I wish I could tell you guys how much he's actually taking off of this, but there's just no way that I can do that because, again, he's selling these things at unheard of prices. If you're wanting to get your hands on an NRX Plus or any other G-Loomis or Shimano rod and reel, I guarantee you if you come up this weekend, we'll be able to put something in your hands that you can afford, because we have slashed the prices down so low that you will never, repeat after me. I promise you, you will never, ever, ever see prices this low again on any rod and reels. If you are a cat fisherman, guys, they have some reels up there that I saw one today that was $100 off. $100 off. Those of you guys that are into the catfishing world, they got a ton of stuff. Bunch of Garcias. They have some, again, many Shimano reels up there if you're in the bass fishing side of things. I don't care what you do. If you're fishing Abu, if you're fishing Quantum, if you're fishing whatever, obviously Shimano and G-Loomis is where my heart lies because I'm affiliated with them, but I fish them because I love them. But what I'm saying is there's so much stuff happening this weekend at the Tackle Box that if you miss it, it's your own fault. I'm telling you what, guys. And I know you're probably saying this is just a ploy. This is Waller. I've heard you say this before. Guys, I'm telling you, the NRX Rod Plus or the NRX Plus Rod Series this year at the Tackle Box is going to be lower in price than you can almost buy a used one for. Mark my words. I'm telling you. It is going to be stupid good. So it's going to be really fun. Again, come up there and check it out. By the way, I want to give a shout out. Last week when I was talking about it, I said that Greg and them used to do a penny a yard for line. Since COVID, that's a no-go because one of the guys that was doing it was, I think he had some heart operations and stuff and doesn't want to get sick. And that's okay. But I will tell you, though, a penny a yard sounds like a good deal, and it was a good deal. The Tackle Box spools mono all throughout the year pretty much for 3 cents a yard. So it's not like you're getting an Uber discount, and you can go up there after the Tackle Box and get your stuff, or after the open house and get your stuff relined for 3 cents a yard, which is not that big of a deal. So, again, guys, there is a ton of different things here that we're going live on. I'm trying to work on a lot of different things here. Again, if you're out there on TikTok land or if you're out here on Facebook, whether that be my personal page, my fishing page, or YouTube, thank you guys very much. What's up, Kip? We'll be there, man. Like I said, it is really, 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 really good. The everything is going to be marked down. I think they're doing $5.99 on Yamamoto Cincos. If you're in the market for a 3/8 ounce fire crawl jackhammer, I think they're $7.99 still. Yeah, you heard that right. They're usually like $15. So less than half price up there. They have an overstock wall. I did see a bunch of Rapala DT8s, which are brand new, that you can get your hands on. One of the things I want you to be familiar with, if you go up there looking for that stuff, there's a whole wall that is dedicated to overstock. There are some DT8s that are actually in the Rapala section that are not discounted because of the fact that, you know, they don't have that many of them. So the overstock wall is all the way on the right-hand side over by the Zoom stuff. You'll see it. There's a big sign that goes there. But we'll be there again Saturday and Sunday this week. We'll be working on trying to get, you know, some of my followers out there coming. I do have some of these hats right here. I have a limited run of these hats. They are on another line, leather patch hats. They're going to be $20. I will have some tungsten up there if you're interested in getting your hands on some of this. Selling this tungsten of mine at a record low of $1 per piece, except for the 3/4 ounce, and they're $2. Guys, a 3/4 ounce tungsten weight is going to cost you $5 anywhere you go. I'm going to sell them to you for $2. Now, the reason I'm doing this, I'm not cutting into Greg's profit at all. Matter of fact, this is not going to be in his shop. This will be outside. If you want to go do it, we'll go grab it in my truck or whatever. But the reason that I'm selling you guys this that low price is because I didn't buy this stuff to make money on it. I made this to get my YouTube channel name out there, and that was the whole deal. And then I kind of got lost in the fact of trying to make a money on it, and that's not the case. Behind this weight right here, there is a QR code. If you scan that QR code, it takes you to my YouTube channel, which is obviously youtube.com/on another line. So with that being said, this tungsten right here is going to be as cheap as you've ever seen it. Again, this pack right here, this is 3/16 ounce. Get 4 in a pack. It's going to cost you $4. That's just straight out the door, $4. You bring me $4 bills, I'll send you home with a pack of this. You can buy as much or as little as you want. You can mix and match. You don't have to buy all the same thing. You can buy this, 3/4, half ounce, what have you. Whatever the number of weights that are in the pack is how much it's going to cost you, except for the 3/4 ounce, and it's going to be $2 for those because, again, that's way more than half price on those things. So definitely come up here and get your hands on at least some of the on another line tackle or a tungsten. It's not going to last forever. Again, I'll have some hats up there. There's a limited run of 10 of these things. They're uber expensive to make. Matter of fact, I'm actually taking like a $4 loss on these things, which is okay. So $20, they're in your hands. Again, they're a limited run. You guys are kind of like the guinea pigs at $20 because I want to see if these patches will hold on. They are not sewn on. They are glued on with leather adhesive. I've been wearing this hat right here for the better part of about 4 months, almost every day, trying to get this thing to come off, and it will not. I don't know if it'll stay in washes or anything like that, but just know that it is there. Them Wayne boys in the house. Yeah, David, I'm sure I'll see you there. Like I said, I'll have everything I have with me in my truck, so I'll let you dig through it and see what you want. Hey, Travis. Yeah, man, this weekend from it is the 11th and 12th to Tackle Box there in South Point. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, 9 to 5 on Saturday, and I think it's 10 to 4 on Sunday. Saturday is always a giant cluster, man. There's so many people there, and I look forward to seeing each and every one of you guys out there. And again, come and hang out. You know, let's talk fishing. You don't have to buy anything. If anything else, come up to the tackle box. There's a chance when you come in, they're going to give you this ticket, and they're going to have you put your name on it, and you're going to drop it in a barrel, basically. Every hour, they'll draw for a door prize. You have to be in the store for that winner. So if they draw your name and you're not in the store, then they go to the next person. However, at the end of both days, so if you're there on Saturday, they'll put everybody's name that was there on Saturday. They'll draw a name out of that at the very end of the day, so like 5:15 in the evening. You guys will be entered to win a Shimano rod and reel combo that's 100% free. There's no entry fee. There's no purchase necessary. It's usually about a $200 combo, and that's on Saturday. There is one on Sunday as well. If you come Saturday, your name doesn't get brought over to Sunday. However, if you come Saturday and Sunday, your name will go in for both drawings. if you win a door prize, your name will still go back in, as far as I know, for that raffle for those or that drawing for that Shimano rod and reel. What's up, Brandon Buckner? What's happening, buddy? Sounds good. Sounds good, man. See you then. All right. With that being said, let's talk about baits that I use to explore new waters. And when I'm talking about new waters, I'm talking about fish places I've never been before. Like, for example, Lake Chickamauga. I was there I guess it's been about 4 years ago now. Me and Misty went down. I think it was on spring break. I just had this wild hair, and I was like, we're going to Lake Chickamauga, and we're going to go try to catch the fish. I hear all about these big, giant hammers that are caught out of Chickamauga. We're going to go try to catch one. So I talked to Mark Hickey, and I talked to some other people that, that I had been there before, and I got a very, very basic knowledge of those things. And then I just went fishing. And knowing what I knew then, what I know now, I would have approached it way differently. But that's the deal. Like, if you're going to a brand new place, how you break down water is totally up to you. But for me, it's all about confidence. You guys keep hearing me harp about confidence, confidence, confidence. Confidence in the fishing world is big. I am huge when it comes into confidence. If I have a bait that I feel like I can confidently catch fish on every time I go out, you can bet your rear end I'm going to be throwing it, because it doesn't matter how big of a fish you catch. Unless you're catching fish, you're never going to catch those giants. So you have to start with a game plan and start whittling down your ideas to try to figure out how you're going to, approach these new waters. So number one, the key to, any success, in my opinion, is fish stuff that you feel like that you're confident in. My confidence baits are going to be different than your confidence baits, and your confidence baits are going to be different than the next person's baits. But there's one certain bait that you have more confidence in than any other bait on the planet. And that's a really tough decision for me. What's up, Ian? How you doing, buddy? Things are going good, man. Cool, bud. Yeah. Holler at me. David, they had the Loomis tournament there in October, November. I think it was November they had it. So I would imagine yes. We'll talk to Drew this weekend when we see him. He's the guy that holds those things, so we'll find out. I would say yes. The Stinko, Cody Wayne Hall. Yeah, man. I'm with you. I think that's a really good bait. Hey, Ryan, what's up, buddy? The Stinko, in my opinion, is it's kind of underrated because of the ways that you can fish it. But yeah, Luke, man, I'm super bummed about that thing being this weekend, because I had it set in my head this week, or this year. I was like, I'm gonna go down and hop in the BFL in Chickamauga because I want to fish as a co-angler to try to learn the lake a little better. And it just so happens it fell in the Tackle Box Open House, and I always work the Tackle Box Open House just to help Greg out, and also that's how I'm actually affiliated with G. Loomis and Shimano, is being part of Greg's pro staff. Really, not really Shimano, G. Loomis. I get the hookup of those companies through Greg, so it's part of my contract is to work this thing, which I don't mind. It's always a good time, but I was really bummed to see that was the same weekend. So maybe next year I'm hoping to get down there and fish that thing. So we were talking about the Senko, and there's so many different ways you can fish a Senko. I find throwing a Senko on a wacky rig catches fish a lot. You could Texas rig those things. You can throw that thing on a Carolina rig. You could throw it weightless. There is so many different ways that you could do, that you can, I guess, rig this thing. But Travis here says, anytime I'm on a new lake, I'm throwing a Texas rig first. So that's where I have my fishing prowess or expertise goes into slow fishing right now, and I'm changing that. Right now, I've got myself in a terribly bad habit where I go out and I'm fishing, and next thing you know, I'll fish a crankbait or a buzz bait or, some kind of a fluke or something in the morning, some kind of moving bait. And if I don't get bit by 8:30, 9 o'clock, I'm dragging a Texas rig, I'm dragging a Carolina rig, I'm throwing a jig, I'm doing something really slow. And I feel like that this year I got my teeth kicked in tournaments doing that stuff, because I know throwing those baits that I have confidence in, like a crankbait or a buzz bait or something like that, will get bit in certain times. and that's the thing. Yeah, Cody, I forgot about that. You throw on the shaky head as far as the Senko goes. What's up, Rocky? How you doing, buddy? Thank you. So I don't know. So confidence base for me, my number one most confident bait is probably, as Travis said there, a Texas rig of some sort. I'm usually throwing that thing lightweight, maybe 3/16 tungsten, quarter-ounce tungsten, even up to a half-ounce tungsten, depending on the weight or the water that I'm fishing and the time of year. Right now, I feel like the fish are going to be deeper, moving more shallow, looking for those bites and stuff. I just read an article that J.R. White sent me earlier this week. I think it was Sunday. That I think it was Wired to Fish posted on there about really early pre-spawn fish. And they were talking about warming trends. Well, we're seeing one of those right now during this week. It was fairly warm on Sunday. Wind was absolutely ripping. I wanted to go fishing, but it was like 40 mile an hour and sustained 20. And it was just, it was only 40 degrees. I wasn't going out there and battling that in that kind of conditions. But they talk about finding warming trends within the fishing community that you're in. Now, a warming trend in my location is way different than a warming trend in Florida. A warming trend in my location here in Ohio is one of those things where, it could be 2 or 3 days that are in the 40s or 50s. Hey, Payne King, what's up, buddy? No, man, I wish I had any kind of forward-facing sonar. Right now, I'm running Humminbird stuff. I have 2 Solix 15s, one on my dash, one on my console, one on my deck. And I'm saving my pennies right now for a 360 transducer. And I'm kind of in the mix of what I need to do there. Long story short, I want to upgrade to an Ultrex eventually. Ultrex is like $3,500, which is crazy to think about. And then, or I could buy a 360 transducer for about $1,200, which is a lot more, not easily accessible, or readily accessible, but it's easier for me to bite off at this point. But one of the things that I have to look at is that right now I have a Fortrex trolling motor, and they make a 360 transducer that's for the Fortrex. Well, I was looking the other day, and the Fortrex transducer is a foot shorter than the one for the Ultrex. So I've contacted Johnson Outdoors, which owns Humminbird, and their advice was me to buy an Ultrex kit and a mount for a Fortrex, which is about $350 extra. So there's a huge deal there. But no, I wish I had Active Target 2. I wish I had some form of forward-facing sonar. I will. I'm definitely a realist and not a purist here. Humminbird gets their rear ends whipped when it comes to forward-facing sonar, but I look for that to change in the next update. So I feel like their down scan, side scan, and 360 beat any other. But they are getting absolutely killed in the forward-facing sonar, but they're kind of late to the game. They're probably the third one into the market because they come out with 360 while everybody was working on forward-facing sonars. So now, it just kind of comes with the territory, but I wish I could. Wish I had it. What's up, Lonnie? Hey, man, I'll get a hold of you here soon, maybe next Tuesday. Maybe we'll get you on and talk about that shaky vibe and a few other things. Guys, if you don't know, I put out a video there on my YouTube channel the other day talking about the shaky vibe. Lonnie here was one of the main creators of that bait. Not only is he an excellent fisherman and an awesome bait maker or bait, designer, he also is a guide on Guntersville. If you'd like to go out there and, wrangle you some giant slaunches out there on the Guntersville area, I think he'll travel in and around a few lakes there. Get a hold of him here. Go like his page in Guntersville Guide Service. Again, Lonnie, thank you for joining in, man. I appreciate it. Man, I tell you what, that sucks, dude. But I tell you what, I was messaging one of my buddies a second ago, and he said that they absolutely whacked them today at Grayson. Caught a ton, like bunch. And I heard of an absolute monster being caught. I haven't seen the video. I haven't seen the picture yet, but I heard tell of almost a 10-pounder coming out of there today. I don't know for sure, but that I have to see the pictures to make sure it's true. But I was told a 9.5, 9.75 fish out of Grayson at some point today. I don't know. Never seen it happen. Not saying it won't happen. Probably did. But again, we were talking about those warming trends. Today is one of those warming trends really early pre-spawn. Beach Fork, one lake I've never been to. I keep telling you guys I'm gonna get with you out there and go catch some fish with you guys. This year's the year. Mark your calendars. We're going to Beach Fork and you guys are gonna show me how to fish. All right, really quick. I forgot to say something earlier. Right now, the biggest thing with Ohio bass fishing, as far as the high school angler goes, is that Ohio doesn't have bass fishing as an actual sport in the state of Ohio. It is a club sport. What that means is that if you want to create a team for a high school bass fishing team in the state of Ohio, you can do that. There's no rules or regulations. There's also no funding coming from the state because it's not a sanctioned sport. I really think that they're missing the ball there on that. Kentucky is on the ball. They have, and I think West Virginia too, both have sanctioned these high school bass fishing as an actual sport. There is some funds there available for the schools so we can get some of those teams together and things. And obviously, you guys know that falls into my wheelhouse because I do have the ability to coach one of those teams should it happen at Dawson Bryant or Colgrove. Well, I say all that to say this. I was talking at a meeting the other day with a lot of Lawrence County's best, like a bunch of the business owners, CEOs. We're talking about the commissioners. There was so many people in there. It was like a business advisory meeting. I was talking about my guitar building program, and I was approached by Deanna Holiday, who is a county commissioner here in Lawrence County, Ohio. And her question to me was, first, how come you're not building fishing rods with students? And we started laughing. I was like, that would be the thing to do. Maybe that'll happen soon. I said, but what really stinks is that Ohio doesn't have bass fishing as a sport. And we sat there and talked for about 5 minutes before our presentation, and she told me to reach out to her because she is big into the fishing world too. Her family loves fishing and things. So they are going to back this to try to get this to happen. Matter of fact, I have to set up a meeting with them soon to meet with her and her staff. Again, Lawrence County Commissioner, we're going to meet with her staff and Mrs. Holiday and I and her staff and everybody else in Lawrence County are going to try to push for this for the state of Ohio to make this a sanctioned sport. Now, this doesn't affect a lot of us watching this show because we're talking about, people my age or even older, and we're way out of high school unless you're like me and I go to high school every day. I still can't get away from it. But for young folks that are in high school, this is just another outlet for them. I know when I was in high school, if I had the ability to join a bass fishing team, I would, and it would probably make me want to be better, do better, and make things a little better for me, make me want to come to school, which I didn't have a problem going to school. I didn't like it just like anybody else. It's like something you're made to do. I'd done okay. I was a B or AB student with a C every now and again. And then I went to Marshall and I have, a master's degree and a few other things. But there's a lot of stuff there that we're missing out on. They're like Rio Grande has a bass fishing team. We have Ohio State. There's so many. Ohio University has one. I'm sure there's a TIFF and there's a ton of Ohio schools that have bass fishing teams in Ohio that they could be pulling students from Ohio for if we can get some fundage and actually get the state of Ohio to recognize bass fishing as a sport. So I do want to tell you this, that I have started the trek to try to get this changed in the state of Ohio. Will it happen? I don't know. I hope so. Again, I do feel like that Deanna and the rest of the people I talked to were really, really interested in making it happen. So I'm hoping that, I have zero clout. I have zero pull. But you guys out there that watch my show, maybe get the word out there. If we get some, a petition going around to get that thing signed. I don't know the legalities of it. I don't know how it goes. I know nothing about politics. I vote and that's it. I make my informed decision and then that's it. I don't claim to be a politician. Matter of fact, I'm farthest away from one as you'd probably ever see. But I do feel like that this would be pretty cool to get the state of Ohio to recognize bass fishing as a sport. And I do have the Lawrence County Commissioner, Deanna Holiday, willing to help me work on this. So stay tuned, sports fans. Hey, Andrew. Yeah, I'll be around, man. I'll have those Ned rigs for you too. So back to the task at hand. I wanted to say that. What's up, Fish Slayer? How you doing, buddy? So one of the things that I was talking about, baits that I feel like I'm confident to find new fish and new waters. Guys, I don't throw it enough, but the chatterbait or a bladed jig of some sort, whether that be a slobber knocker, whether that be a big blade, whether that's a jackhammer, whether it's a regular Z-Man, whether that's I think Guggen has one now called clickbait. I'm not really impressed with that. I feel like that the blade where it doesn't move, I feel like that you would have to rip the blade out of the fish's mouth if they were to eat the whole bait. Probably going to cause you from not getting hooked up there on that bait. But there's so many of them. But I challenge you to do one thing. Watch an MLF event on TV and just watch what you're throwing. I was telling Misty the other day, we were watching, I think it was the MLF team series, and I said, look at this. I said, there's 9 people right here on this stage right here in this lake, and they're fishing. And I look at this, 9 of them, and 7 of those 9 were throwing a chatterbait of some sort, whether that be a slobber knocker, a jackhammer, you name it, they were throwing it, and they were whacking them. They throw those things because it catches fish. And the crazy thing about it is there's so many different ones out there that you don't even know what to choose from. Again, I like the jackhammer. I think the hooks are great. I think the action is amazing. I didn't know this, and it shows how much little I know about them. But the guys on MLF the other day were throwing 1.25 ounce jackhammer. I didn't have a clue that they made one that big. It's crazy. You don't feel that fishing is a sport. A hobby, yes, but not a sport. I guess we'll just have to agree to disagree on that one, man, because I do believe it's a sport, especially if you're talking about the high school anglers when they're out there knocking out the tournament against 400 or 500 other high school anglers their same age. And it's just, there is very few things on the planet that we as fishermen, there's very few things that are like as detailed as fishing. Let's put yourself on, I don't know, let's just pick a lake, even a decent lake. Let's go to Lake St. Clair. You could pretty much catch fish almost any time of the year at some point in Lake St. Clair. But you are one person, one boat in hundreds of miles or hundreds of square miles of lake, basically. I guess it wouldn't be hundreds. I guess probably 100 square miles. And then fish are moving. They're constantly chasing bait. You're fishing stuff that's not realistic. You're trying to trick fish into biting your lure that are not trying to be caught, obviously. They're just trying to survive. You have to put your wits against Mother Nature. And I don't think that there's any other sports out there that are like that. For example, if I go into a football field, I know what my job is. I'm going to run the certain plays, and I'm going to try to beat the other team. Well, there's only so much that can go into that game. It's win or lose. You either score more points. I heard a guy say at one time, and it's funny. It's like, what's the object of this game? And he said, score more points than they do. True story. Now, there's so much that goes into bass fishing, in my opinion, whether it be luck, whether it be skill, whether it be, different gear, what have you. I feel like that there's so much that can go into it that it makes it capable of becoming a sport at any level. That's right. Marshall has a bass fishing team as well. Right? What's up, Michael? Chatterbait bladed jig is my go-to search bait. Caught so many fish, just searching around and unlock new waters with it. So many ways to fish as well. Yeah, you're right. So I don't fish as much as I will this year. I promise you. I'm picking up an IMX Pro bladed jig rod here probably in the next few days, and I'm going to keep that thing locked in my hand, especially in the springtime. Kyle and I are fishing some areas and some lakes that are grass loaded. Indian Lake, Grand Lake St. Mary's, places like that have a lot of grass in them. Grand Lake used to have, I don't know if they have it anymore. But Indian Lake is absolutely chock full of it. So I'll have that thing in my hand a bunch. I'll be locking that thing in my hand, especially in the springtime. They did come out with a new collar. I think it's some kind of shad collar, I think, on the jackhammer that I really like. But springtime, it's hard to go wrong with red or orange. Again, that fire crawl is good stuff. I agree with you, Marty. I think chatterbait is a big fish bait. I think you'll catch more bigger than small. You're right. It was funny, man. The very first time, I don't know if it was the very first time. I don't think it was the very first time, but the very first time that I was taken to a lake by Brandon Buckner, we went down to a local lake there next to his place. I'm not going to ruin it because it's a hammer hole. It's fun to fish. But we went there, and I pulled down in there, and I was waiting on him. I got there a little early, and I got out of the truck to take a leak, and I looked down, and there was a little bait on there, and I still have it to this day. It's in my truck. It must be like a 1/8 ounce chatterbait. It's literally like this big. I've never seen anything like it. I still this day have never seen one that small. What's up, Mark? Do I even fish, bruh? Man, like, don't you have like a swing to get in or something? Okay, I can go with that. Yeah, I do believe that. The competition of it adds the sport aspect of it. I agree with that. If you're just going out fishing with your buddies, sure, it's not a sport. I think it's a hobby. It's a pastime. It's a way of life. It's a way to fish. Fill your freezer. I go to Lake Erie 2 or 3 times a year. Fill my freezer up full of walleye. But I do believe you're 100% correct with that. Unless you're fishing tournaments, you're probably right. It is just a hobby. I don't know why it wouldn't be any other than that. But if you're in the tournament game, especially if you're fishing against some other hammers, BFLs, high school anglers going to college, like right now, man, go out and check out one of the BASS, the Bassmaster College Series, man. They make a big deal out of it, and they should. It's really cool. Bailey McKinney and those guys that, I don't know why I didn't think of that earlier, was fishing with Marshall. They just fished a tournament down in Florida, I think on the Harris chain. And, they're fishing against 160, 170 other boats that are college anglers. And those people, what's really cool about that, guys, is those guys are traveling on their own. They're pulling their own boats. They're going down. They're making their own reservations. They're fishing. They're pre-fishing. They're fishing these things. And we're talking about kids that are 18 to 24 years old, 25 years old, which is a really cool life lesson, in my opinion. I wish I was doing that stuff at 25. No way I was. What's up, John Wayne Cole? I mean, I agree with that. All good. So chatterbait is going to be one that I'm going to add to my arsenal for finding fish in waters that I've never fished before. We mentioned it earlier, but a shaky head, I have a ton of confidence in a shaky head. I don't know what it is about that thing. I do believe you guys, I'm going to get out here soon. I won't be this weekend because I'm working the Tackle Box Open House, but I'm going to get out and put that thing, that Paces. I'm going to put that shaky vibe to its Paces. Let's see. Pain King, my favorite reel right now would be probably my favorite all time is going to be a Metanium, one of the new Core Solid Metaniums that came out in 2020, I believe. Amazing reel. Lower than that, probably, which is weird to think about. I like the Corrado K a lot. Chronarchs are really good. I used to have a ton of the white. I think they were E-Series Chronarchs. I really like those a lot. Spinning rods. My absolute favorite spinning rod right now is a super high-end one. It's called the Shimano X-Sense. If you're looking at buying a Stella and you're not fishing saltwater, don't overlook the X-Sense. Trust me. Put it in your hands before you fish the Stella. Are you getting a better reel with the Stella? Sure, but you're going to pay for it. The X-Sense has that CI4 body, which if you don't know, CI4 stands for carbon infused. It has a carbon fiber frame. I did learn something today new about the Vanfords. The Vanford 500, 1000, 2000. They don't have cross carbon drag. The 3000 and up do, which is something which is weird. Shimano doesn't really advertise it. You have to dig in to find that. But those are my favorite reels for sure. I do like the Chronarchs for sure. I like them a lot. Yeah, I agree with that. That and a rattle trap. And which brings me to the next search bait. If it's cold, if it's springtime, rattle trap is going to be one of those. I'm going to be throwing a 1/2 ounce red eye shad, maybe a 3/4 ounce, depending on how big or what kind of water I'm fishing. I do throw those Jackal TN60s a lot. They're a smaller profile, have a lot more action to them, really tighter. They have a tighter wobble than a red eye shad. I think that brings a lot more bites. If it's wintertime, I'll be throwing a crankbait, probably some sort of flat side, something like, like a KVD, one of the 1.5 flats, or a balsa bait if you have some. Everybody knows somebody that makes balsa baits that are really good. I think Phil Hunt is a Facebook friend of mine and makes some really cool baits. There's a ton of people out there that make them. Something I can cover a lot of water with. And again, it comes down to the situation of producing bites and becoming more confident in the area that you're fishing. Guys, we all know the feeling. We went out to places and we've beat our absolute heads in for 6 or 7 hours, and we may have not caught a fish. And that is terrible down the water. I've been to some of my favorite lakes on the planet, I say favorite around here, which is not really my favorite, but Grayson Lake, Yatesville, places like that. And I fished all day, all stinking day, and never put my hands on one single largemouth bass. That is a tough day. If you go to a new body of water and you do that, you are going to be beat before you even step on the deck on that first morning of the tournament. You're just going to get your head kicked in because, again, as G-Man says, it's true. Positive mental attitude means a lot, and being able to find those fish early and find them often is the key to it. So if you're catching little 5, 6, 7-inch fish, that's okay. You're still catching fish. If you're throwing baits all day and you never get bit, I guarantee you're going to have a terrible day of fishing because you're going to get in your head before noon and you're going to be over it. Donkey rig. Well, isn't that the two weightless flukes that are not bad? I'm picking up what you're putting on. If you're going to jump in the boat and go fishing with somebody else, you can only use one. You could only use what you had tied on one pole. What would you have tied on it? Man, that is a great question. I guess it all depends on the time of year. But if you just give me one bait all times of the year, would be a black and blue 3/4 ounce football jig with a net bait Paca Slim cut down for a trailer, 4/0 hook, wire weed guards. That's my all-time favorite fishing rig ever. It catches absolute hammers. You can fish it fast. You can swim it. You can fish it really slow. You can fish it really deep. You can fish it shallow. And there's just so many ways to fish it. Now, on the other side of things, if I got to choose one bait, depending on the time of year it was, summer, going to be a crankbait probably, or a swim bait. Swim bait, you can cover a lot of water. You can fish it a lot of different ways. Same way with the crankbait. I don't know, man. That would be it. But I think if you said you get one rod, one reel, and one bait, and you get to fish it all day, again, that would be a G Loomis NRX Plus 894C JWR. That's my favorite jig rod ever. If you're fishing a bigger jig, like 1 ounce or higher, you might go to that 895. We talked about a Chronarch here on TikTok. I have a Chronarch MGL on there in 8 gear ratio, something I can pick up a lot of line, make a lot of casts with. It's going to be 17-pound Sunline FC Sniper. And then I'm going to be throwing, again, a black and blue jig, 3/4 ounce. Again, I pour my own with Do It molds, but it's going to have a wire weed guard. I'm going to be using a NetBait Pocket Slim black and blue cut down as a trailer. And last but not least, I'm going to be putting some JB's fish sauce, pinch of garlic on that thing, and I'm good to go. I could be content, man. If it's 110 degrees or 14 degrees out, I'm okay throwing that bait. Mark, you guys fishing the Casting for Kids tournament this year? Question mark. By the way, we just got that. J.R. White and I will be fishing that thing coming up soon. I think it's closed right now. You can't register anymore. 157 boats, I think. Yeah, we're boat 155. I'll probably sleep in until about 9 o'clock. So I think you're onto something there. I'd like to see MLF bring people here to the Ohio River and try to catch them. The thing about it is, if you look at the Ohio River Bassmaster Classic, which has been many years ago, it was the Tri-Rivers in Pittsburgh. It took like 15 pounds in 3 days to win it, and KVD won it. KVD had a comment one time. Somebody said, "Where's your favorite place to fish?" And he said, "Lake St. Clair, no doubt." He said, "You can go there any time of year. If it's not frozen, you can catch a smallmouth." So, "Where's your least favorite place to fish?" He's like, "The Ohio River, no doubt." Nice, man. That 1099 jig, man. Putting stuff in a boat for everybody. Blue Rock Custom Tackles got a good thing going on with that stuff. I ordered some. I'll be throwing them around. Can't wait. What's up, Mike? No, I haven't seen a video on the new Vanquish. I need to get out there and check it out, I guess. I've been hearing a lot about it. But I tell you, man, really tough to beat that X-Sense for me. Oh, Abu Garcia, why do I prefer Shimano, man? So here's my 100% unbiased opinion here, and this is coming from a guy who is affiliated with Shimano and G Loomis, so take this for what it's worth. I fish Shimano and G Loomis because I fished them all in my lifetime. I started out fishing Shimano back in the day, and I got away from it. I went into fishing a lot of other stuff. I fished Garcia. Matter of fact, I still fish Abu Garcia on my catfish setups because Shimano doesn't have a reel with a bait clicker on it. But I went to the very next reel that a rod and lineup that I went to. I jumped the fence and started buying Quantum Smoke. And I was buying Quantum for a long time. And I had the absolute worst time with Quantum, man. I'm telling you what. The Quantum Smoke rod and reels were the lightest rod and reels at the time, and they had those micro module guides on them, or the micro guides on them. I really liked that idea until it got cold and they froze, which wasn't very long after I was fishing cold weather. But I fished them, and I didn't have luck with them. I was breaking rods, I was breaking reels, and I was constantly having to send these things back to get them replaced. And don't get me wrong, they were good about replacing them, but it was just a pain. And after about 2 or 3 uses, it was like I was reeling gravel through those things. And then I started looking at ways to, buy better things. Like there's always better equipment, right? If you look at Shimano, you look at G Loomis, you look at Abu Garcia, you look at, Quantum, you look at so many, Luz. There's so many things. There's an entry level model, and then there's a highest end model. And in between there's something for you and me to find our budget. Now, I started fishing Shimano really religiously about 15 years ago, back from Quantum Smoke and all that stuff. And I just because I had a terrible time getting those rods that I was fishing the Quantum stuff to last. And this is a time when I was fishing 25 to 30 tournaments a year. I was really abusing my stuff, not like throwing them down and stuff, but I was using these things for 25 or 30 weekends a year. And I was absolutely using the crap out of them, not putting any oil on them. And the stuff that I found just didn't hold up. And then I started buying Shimano and G Loomis, and let's face it, they're one of the highest priced stuff on the market. But I do believe in certain aspects in life, you do get what you pay for. Some of the things that I, knock on wood, because I'm probably going to regret saying this, because I'm going to say eventually I'll probably do this. But if you take care of your Shimano and G Loomis stuff, it's something that's going to last a lifetime. I have personally, knock on wood, again, I'll go out next time and I'll break every rod and reel that I own. But I have never personally in my life broken a Shimano rod or reel, whether that be G Loomis or Shimano. I've never done it. Because one of the things that you have to take into consideration, and I think that somebody from Lew's, or maybe it was Kistler or somebody, they put out this thing out there the other day that said, I could take the highest end rod and I can break it, which is true. But bending it is, and it breaking is one thing. But what you have to think of is sun damage, or I know we've all done this, whether, you want to admit it or not. Even if you're fishing out of a kayak, you've stepped on your rods, you've bent down to lip a fish and kneed the rod right where, on the rod. And what happens is that it flexes the graphite that's the rod or the glass or whatever it's made out of. And you could take a straw, and I wish I had one right now to show you. You could bend a straw, and a certain point, when it gets to that straw, it'll crease. We've all done it. Big McDonald's straw, when you bend it, it will eventually get to the point and it creases. When that thing creases, you can pull it back out. But if you look at that straw, that crease is never gone from there. And that's the exact same thing that happens with those the graphite of those rods. You're crushing it, and when you set the hook, it just snaps right there, just like that straw would. So, if I'm using the rods, I'll have them on my deck. If I'm not using them, they go back in my rod locker. But the one reason I've chosen to fish Shimano and G Loomis is for that fact, guys, and that is 100% true. That's an unbiased opinion. I fish Shimano because they last forever if you take care of them. Do I think there's other stuff that'll last just as long? Probably. I don't know anything about Lew's. I can tell you one thing that Quantum will not. I can promise you that because I saw that firsthand. And like people like Nate Witt, a buddy of mine, he is huge into Garcia. I've reeled Garcia reels right next to Shimano, and I just don't feel like the quality is there for those things. Lew's the same way. If you buy the really high-end Lew's, sure, they're nice, but I don't feel like you're getting the quality that you get with Shimano. So again, that's an unbiased opinion for a guy that is as unbiased as I can be. The reason I fish Shimano is the fact that I can fish it and rely on it for years to come. You guys were talking about that. We were talking about the Crown Arc E-Series that I have. I have one in my boat right now that I sold to a buddy of mine. I've had that thing for 10 years, and it still fishes like it does the very first day. Now, why am I selling it? Just because I'm trying to keep up with the Joneses. To be honest with you, I'm just trying to buy new stuff. I would still fish it. It's great stuff. You buy stuff one time with Shimano, and that's it. As far as G Loomis rods, the reason I buy Loomis rods is because they're so much more expensive than anything else. You're getting a limited lifetime warranty, and that's it. So if you set the hook and it breaks and you think it's a manufacturer defect, you call them up, say, hey, I got this 894C JWR, and I think it broke on a manufacturer defect. You send it back, they test it, they look at it. If they determine it's a manufacturer defect, they send you a brand new rod. If that rod series is not made anymore, they send you the equal value of the rod back in the new lineup. Another thing that I like about G Loomis is they have a thing called the Expediter series or Expediter service. Let's just say that you're fishing a big tournament in Guntersville, and I keep saying the 894 because it's my favorite rod ever. You set the hook on a big, giant fish and some grass, and the rod breaks. Whether that's your fault or it's a manufacturer defect, you can call Shimano up and be like, hey, or, G Loomis out there in Washington State, be like, hey, I got this 894. I broke it on a hook set. I want to use the Expediter service. So what will happen is if that rod is in stock, which they're finally getting back caught up on things, I think it's $200 if I'm not mistaken for the InterX Plus, maybe $250. What happens is you call them up, say, hey, I've broken this rod. Let's just say it's $200. Don't take me my word on it for that. $200. They ask you where you're at in the United States. They overnight that rod to you wherever you're at. So if you call them Monday morning, you'll have that thing by Tuesday evening, and you'll be back fishing again. Only thing you got to do, put the old rod back in that tube, which is prepackaged, and ship it back. That is it. That is one of the reasons I fish G Loomis and Shimano. That's the true story. 155, yeah, baby. I guess one positive thing about this, I guess we'll just see where everybody else is fishing, right? And then we'll just make our deal from there. Yeah, I saw that, Marty. Myself, the guy we were just talking about there, or that just commented, he and I are fishing the one there at Yatesville. Like I said, there's 157 boats. We're boat 155. Come on, Nate. I mean, come on, Nate. Crap, dude. Like, no. They're not. In my opinion, opinions are like buttholes. Everybody's got one. They usually stink. Mine probably does stink to you, but I would fish. I don't know, man. I'd probably pick Luz over Garcia, and that's bad. Man, I don't know about that one right there. I know St. Croix Victories are really nice rods, but depending on what Loomis rod you're talking about, the JWR rod could be a lot of different series. Could be the old E6X. It could be IMX. Could be NRX. Could be NRX Plus. Could be IMX. It could be a lot of different ones. But just the guide train alone on an NRX Plus rod, just the guides alone are like $200. So I don't know. You must have had one somebody beat all to heck or what, or someone was up with it, and it could have been during COVID because there's so much that had happened in there. Quality went down on every rod series for everybody, but grab yourself an NRX Plus right now and check it out. Nate, I love you, dude. Hell, if I can't give you any problems, if I can't give you any heck, then who the heck is it to say? That's classic. Anyway, been on here for quite a while, but those are the baits. Some of the baits that I would find if I were, if I were going to find some new waters or trying to find baits, fish within waters. But again, a couple of things. Tackle Box Open House this Sunday, 9 to 5 on Sunday, and it's like my phone's live on TikTok. What kind of boat do I have? I have a 2006 Stratus 201 Pro XL with an Evinrude 250 E-Tech. Electronics, two 15-inch Solix Gen 3s. I'm working on trying to get 360 on that bad boy. But we're going to be looking at Tackle Box Open House this weekend. Again, 9 to 5 on Saturday. I think, don't quote me on it, 10 to 4, I believe, on Sunday. There is door prizes, guys. $5.99 on Yamamoto Senkos. They have some 3/8 ounce only, and it's not all jackhammers. 3/8 ounce fire crawl jackhammers up there for $7.99, I believe. They have an overstock wall. There's some DT8s over there. There's a lot of like Spro essential stuff I saw over there. There's going to be the biggest, and I keep reiterating this fact, but it is the biggest rod and reel sale that I've ever seen in my life anywhere. There's over 1,100 rods in stock, whether you like, Garcia or Luz or, Shimano, G Loomis, you name it, we have it. We're going to have it up there. We have a ton of the new X-Pri Bs up there. They have the Shimano Zodius line. There's a ton of those. 179 NRX Plus in stock. There's just so much stuff to come up there. Again, they're not doing the penny per yard line re-rigging or re-reeling, but they will do that any other time for 3 cents a yard, so you're not saving a ton of money on it anyway, so you can do that. They will not be doing that during the open house, by the way. They don't do much line. We just get so swamped. But come up, hang out with me. Let's talk fishing. You don't have to buy anything. I would never make you feel bad if you didn't buy anything. But if you're looking to get your hands on a Loomis rod and you've been looking at the NRX Plus lineup, I guarantee you'll never see a price like this for a new NRX Plus ever again. And here's another thing that I'll tell you. If you want to save a few extra bucks, bring somebody with you that wants to buy one also, and I'll knock more money off from it. And that is tough to beat. I'm telling you. Guys, it's going to be crazy. We're going to knock it out. Blue Rock Custom Tackle. What's up, buddy? What's up, Jesse? I need to get with you here soon because I got a great idea. We're not too far from each other. One weekend before it gets too warm to start fishing all the time, I want to drive up to your place and do a video of you making some baits. Also want to buy some baits from you and keep me from shipping it. So I want to drive up. We'll do a video series. We'll just knock it out. Maybe do a promo for you. That way you can share it on YouTube, Facebook, what have you. It'll be cool to to partner up and do that. So keep that in mind. I think that would be a really cool deal. I'm up towards Stu McDonald there in Athens a lot, picking up wood and stuff to give my class. So that would be awesome. We can make that happen. So anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys sticking around for this episode of On Another Line. Yeah, man, I can show you what I know. It'll be like 15 minutes. I can show you what's up. So again, we're about that 1 hour mark. You guys know that's the routine. I like to be on here for an hour blabbing. I'm going to try to get Lonnie Cochran on next week, maybe talk fishing, Gunnersville, talk about a shaky vibe. He's also got some new baits coming out. Maybe we'll be able to get a sneak peek of some of those. Tackle Box open house this weekend, Saturday, Sunday. I'll be there both days, all day, both days. So come on out and have some fun, talk fishing. I do have some tungsten available. Again, this is On Another Line, branded tungsten. I'm selling this stuff at record low prices. Again, this 4-pack of 3/16-ounce weight is going to cost you $4 at the Tackle Box. Again, these are not going to be displayed in the store. If you're interested in getting your hands on this, let me know. I'll take you out back in the truck and I'll sell you all you want for $1 a piece. So this will be $4. The 1/4 ounce, I think, is $4. 3/16. Let's see. The 1/8 ounce has $4. 1/4 ounce has $3. 5/16 has $3, 1/2 ounce has $2, and then the 3/4 ounce is $1. But those are $2 a piece. Everything else is how many ever are $1 per weight. Yeah, dude, I can't wait. Me and Kyle were talking about the other day. We need to get together and try to see one. I think you said the second weekend, and we have that plan. We're ready to rock and roll, man. We have to keep it. We'll keep it going. I'm gonna go over there and you guys show me how to lean on a giant. See you, man. No, man, everything I got right now is just totally black. I will be ordering some more soon. Again, just to give you guys a lowdown about these things, I ordered these things as a promotional kind of a stunt. They do have a QR code behind the weights that have my if you scan that, it takes you to my YouTube channel. When I got all these weights in, that's what I got them for. I wanted to sell them for what I have in them, basically, to try to get my YouTube channel out there. And then I got this kind of weird like vibe that I was going to try to make money off these things. And I started looking at it, and then eventually it hit me the other day. I was like, no, I'm not making money off these things. I don't need to make money off these things. I bought these as a marketing event here. Again, I'm going to be giving some of these away. Matter of fact, I might have something crazy going on at the Tackle Box with a big QR code that says scan here. And if you have either subscribe to my YouTube channel or do it that day, we're going to put your name in a hat to win maybe $100 worth of this stuff. Who knows? We'll see. That could be coming up. So, yeah, we'll be seeing you there on Saturday. If you guys want to come up and talk fishing, definitely do. Don't be afraid to say hi if you are out there and we've never spoke. I'd love to put a name to a face to a name. So holler at me. It is busy. It's crazy time. I'll be helping people there. I'm there really to help people learn and try to pick out which Shimano G-Loomis rod and reels are best for their style and what their budget is. We do have rods and reels in any budget. We can put you in one that's really fairly cheap to something that it's going to cost you. The highest end rod and reel for Shimano right now is an NRX Plus with a Stella, and you're looking at MSRP prices right there. You're looking at close to $1,400, and that is crazy. It's nuts. Not for me, but it may be for one of you guys. But anyway, we'll see you guys around. Come up and see us at Tackle Box Saturday and Sunday of this week, 9 to 5 on Saturday, 10 to 4, I believe, 10 to 4. Again, great deals. Again, if you want to get your hands on an NRX Plus, come up. We can put one in your hands for cheaper than you've ever seen it. And I'm also going to tell you, if you got a buddy that's wanting one, bring him too. And if you buy them both together, I'm going to knock more money off of that thing. So that's going to be big time. So see you guys Saturday. If you guys haven't went over to On Another Line on youtube.com/On Another Line, hit that subscribe button. I'd appreciate it. Would mean a whole lot to me. If not, it's okay too. Still love you all. See you guys next time. Next Tuesday, we'll be live again, and we'll be talking about, hopefully have Lonnie Cochran on, talking fishing with him. With that being said, we'll see you guys Saturday. I hope you guys, if you can, get out there and lean on them. We'll see you next time on Another Line. What's up, guys? Thank you guys for joining. Appreciate it.